wondering if you are still selling some AMS oil. I am after some 30-weight break-in oil. So if that's something you carry, give me a call back. My number is Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the YouTube channel, and welcome back to probably one of the last episodes building the Hyperblue Evo 8. This has been the most fun, the most intricate, the most detailed, my best build I think that I've ever done as far as like an engine build goes, engine bay build goes, and we're not even done yet. Like we're getting close, but we're not done yet. Here's how she currently looks. A lot of changes coming, all minor details. Different color wastegate, different manifold or a polished manifold, just some odds and ends like that. But overall, here's how she turned out, and it looks so sick. I'll throw a little bit of footage on the screen right now of how it looked when we first started out versus how it looks now, so you guys can get a little side-by-side comparison. I ain't gonna lie, man, I am very nervous to attempt to fire this thing up. I don't know how many hours we have in this car. If I had to guess, let's see, probably over the last month and a half, 2 months, we've been working on this thing. I don't even know, probably 150 hours. I don't know. There's been a lot of episodes, and each day is like a 12 to 18 hour work day in the shop. So it's been a lot of hours. Today, we are going to be doing all of the fluids. We have brake, power steering, obviously blew the clutch and the brakes, ACD, transfer case, transmission, engine oil, coolant. Is that it? 7 fluids to fill on this car, and then a ton of stuff to bleed. We got to turn the engine over before we actually fire it, make sure we're getting oil pressure. I ordered an oil pressure gauge, an AEM. It hasn't showed up yet, so we're just gonna be throwing a manual gauge on there for now, right out of the oil filter housing, just to make sure that we are getting adequate oil pressure when we are cranking it and at idle, that kind of stuff. We do need to install our fuel pump, so it's a Walbro 450. I think we bought a hardwire kit for it. I do want a hardwired. So, shoot, did I order a kit? I think I ordered a kit. If not, we're gonna have to order one ASAP. And then last but not least, we are waiting for the base map to come in from Chag Tuned to get this thing first fired up, and then we can start tuning after we get a few miles on this motor, get some logs, and start turning it up. The first thing I want to do today is run through and torque everything down. We have all the subframe hardware that needs to be completely torqued down, the struts, everything that's super important. We got to get torqued down, got to get the brakes back on. Probably won't throw the wheels on yet, but brakes, all that good stuff. So let's dive into it and start throwing this thing 100% back together. Brakes are on, everything is torqued down. We completely fucked up this caliper. It sat in brake fluid for a while, and then I tried to clean it off with lacquer thinner, and it kind of messed it up. So we'll have to recoat that later on down the road. Maybe next time we're powder coating, we can bang that caliper out. I'm gonna grab the radiator. We need to situate the radiator fan. So we have a slim fan that mounts right to the radiator, which I think is I originally ordered an eBay one, and then I was like, yeah, do it right. And then I'm pretty sure we ordered a Mishimoto fan, but the radiator's kind of dirty and grimy, so let's get it all cleaned up, get that fan on, and we can get that installed into the car. So this is a Mishimoto, I believe it's the Evo 6 radiator. So all it does is move this water pipe from the center over to the side, and this is an 8.9 radiator fan, which, as you can see, it doesn't really fit. It only mounts up in one point there, one point on the bottom. So definitely a little bit rattly. Let's get that pulled off. We can put that in storage. I'm sure we'll need it later on for some other sort of build. And then the whole top of the radiator needs to be cleaned up, and I'm going to be using the Prime MX Scotch-Brite wheels. Those things work wonders on this kind of work. I'm assuming somewhere down the line, someone ran just straight water in this thing because that block, all the water jackets in the block seemed a little bit rusty. And then check out the water that's coming out of this radiator. So I'm gonna try to flush it with just clean water, get all that gunk out of there, and then we can get this thing cleaned up. So there's the finished look with the prime wheel. Those things work absolute wonders. So if you guys are trying to finish anything like this, kind of like a brushed finish, I'd highly recommend picking some of those up. I'll link them down below. We got our radiator hoses there. Here is the Mishimoto Slim Fan. All right, first problem of the day, lower intercooler pipe is completely way in the way of our radiator. There's no way our radiator is even gonna fit with our intercooler pipe like that. So we need to figure something else out. Fun. Okay guys, we got the pipe situated. So we had to do it's probably like a 30-degree bend instead of a 45 here. And then we actually had to extend this silicone coupler. So there's a little 2.5-inch pipe in there, clamp holding it together. Obviously it's not long-term. This is just to get us through. And then it'd be very, very easy for some good fab dude to just add or extend this pipe 2 or 3 inches this way, and we'd be good. Just run the same coupler. So this clears everything just fine. We had to clock the turbo, the compressor housing a little bit down to get that to go on to the compressor housing and to clear the radiator. So yeah, I think we should be good. Let's get the intercooler pipe on, get all the radiator hoses situated, and we can move on from there. It is all such a tight fit up here with the radiator to the header or to the manifold, wastegate to the radiator. Of course, we had to run all of the vacuum lines back to the boost controller. So we need to pick up some nice heat wrap or heat blanket for all of the vacuum hoses. I'll probably throw some on this radiator overflow hose right there, but it all fits and it all looks nice. Stand back a little bit, nice shiny radiator, always looks beautiful. Let's grab our radiator brackets. Let me show you guys what we are running. You probably can already guess, the one and only JD Customs radiator brackets. We got our Mishimoto Slim Fan all wired up. Gray to gray, blue to blue is what I'm assuming how it goes. If it doesn't kick on, we will have to flip the wires around. That was pretty much the last thing we needed to do before we start adding fluids to this thing. And yeah, doing the thing that we all want to do. Start the damn thing up. I've always ran some sort of break-in oil in the past, and a lot of people always say it's not necessary. My thought process on it was obviously it's not going to hurt anything. The only thing it could do would be help. Right? Help with the break-in process, help seat the rings. All day I've been trying to find the AMSOIL 30-weight break-in oil because that's usually what we run, and I really, really liked it. It's red. It's easy to see if it's leaking anywhere. I cannot find it anywhere in Spokane. The earliest we could get it would be Wednesday, and today is Monday. So I don't want to wait 2 more days just to start this thing up when I know it's not really necessary. So we're just going to be running our, what is it, Brad Penn? Our Penn grade 2050. That's what we run in all the built Evo motors that we have. This good old stuff right back here. So that's what we're gonna be running. I did grab a coolant flush little kit. I've never done this before, but this coolant system or the whole cooling system on this car, I feel has a lot of gunk in it. So we're gonna run the car out first with just straight water, drain it out, use this little flush, run it, drain it out, and then I think from there we can go ahead and fill it up with actual antifreeze. We have two problems. Two leaks on the car. Here's what she looks like right now. Funnels everywhere. And if you come under the car, we got two nice little leaks. One right there, which that one's already fixed. Totally space tightening the bolt when we did the power steering line relocation. So that bolt going to the rack was loose. Got that tightened up. We're good to go there. Should probably wipe that up before it stains the floor. And the second problem, which I knew that this is gonna be a problem, but I didn't order a water pump because I cannot find one. I started throwing water in the radiator and out comes water out of the timing cover. So that means something with the water pump's leaking. I don't know if it's the water pump seal or the water pump gasket. That water pump seems super, super tight when you were trying to spin it. And unfortunately, this is an Evo 6 block. The Evo 5 and 6 water pump, maybe the 7 as well, is different versus 8 and 9. And I cannot find one in the United States anywhere, so that's why I never ordered one. I was just kind of winging it. I was like, I don't want to order a water pump and have the whole build be pushed back. So that's why I never bought one. But now we're in this situation of we need a water pump for the car to start. Well, we can still start the car. I don't really want to do that kind of stuff for now, like half-ass it when we're this close to perfection. From what I understand, there's none available in the United States. We could try and get one like express shipped, which would be very expensive, I'm sure. Still take a while from Japan, but this is where we're at right now. Tranny's pretty much topped off. Power steering, we should probably fill up again because it all leaked out. Engine, we have 4 quarts in it currently. Brake, we need to grab some more fluid. Transfer case is being a pain in the ass just because we didn't do it properly. How I always do transfers in the past is fill it up when it's actually outside the car. A whole quart of the, I believe it's MT90 that we're putting in that thing. Not MT90, but this 90 weight gear oil from Mitsubishi. I always put a whole quart through where the driveline would sit, then install into the car, start it, run it for a little bit, let the wheels spin for a bit, and then pull that fill plug out and let it drain out. Because trying to fill a transfer while it's in the car is such a pain. But that's what we're having to do. Yeah, that is where we are at, guys. Okay, now we have another leak. The brake fluid is leaking out of the clutch master cylinder. So we did this braided line, the braided clutch line, and the line is tight, but it's still like loose on the master, if that makes sense. The nut itself is tight, but you see like how loose all that is, and it's leaking super bad. So what we're gonna do to fix that problem is have a whole new line made. Factory uses a banjo bolt, and that is some sort of other fitting. We're gonna have the same exact line made from my guys down at House of Hose, utilizing this factory banjo bolt, so that will take care of that leak. So as of right now, we have 2 leaks to fix. The water pump, which may take a while, and that clutch line, which is a super easy fix. I know today's not going to plan whatsoever. Obviously, we're trying to get this car up and running today. The next best thing is just to turn it over. I don't want to start the car. We do still have to prime the entire engine, and the best way to do that actually is by spinning the oil pump, and we're gonna have the timing cover off and the timing belt off to do the water pump. So when we have all that stuff off, we can prime the engine then, but I do want to just turn it over. So we do have the crank position sensor unplugged, and then just in case it still wants to fire for whatever reason, which it wouldn't, we do have all of the coil packs unplugged. And I just want to turn this thing over real quick, just to hear it turn over. That's all I want. This thing sounds good. You know when you turn a motor over and you can tell if it's healthy or not? This thing sounds healthy. I'm gonna pull the oil feed line for the turbo just to see if any oil is coming out. We only turned it over like 3 or 4 times, so I don't think that would pump oil all the way to the head already. Well, I want to check just to make sure, just for fun, because there's nothing else to do. Well, as you guys saw, there's nothing coming out of the head yet, which isn't a big deal. I would expect it to take a lot more revolutions of the engine than what we did to get oil all the way to the head. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video right here. I'm sure it's a short one. I'm sure it's probably not the best video in the world because we didn't meet our end goal, which was obviously to get this car running. But stuff happens, shit comes up like this. We have had, what, 3 leaks on this freaking car? We're down to 2. One's a really easy fix, the other one, not so much. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up right here, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Sorry to let you guys down. I know some of you are dying to see this thing run just as much as I am. The anxiety and the stress that this car has caused over the last few months since we started building it has been a lot. But I think at the end of the day, when it's all finished up, it's gonna be sick, it's gonna be fun, and it's gonna look insane. So hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out. I'll see you guys tomorrow.